Welcome to the media briefing on the announcement of Super Fours, the Premier T20 cricket tournament organised by Sri Lanka Cricket. Sri Lanka Cricket විසිට සංවිධානය කරන Super Fours T20 cricket තරඟාවලිය සම්බන්ධයෙන් පැවැත්වෙන මේ මාධ්‍ය හමුවට පැමිණි ඔබ සියලු දෙනා අපි තාමත් ගෞරවණීය පිළිගනු ලබනවා. මෙහිදී ඔබට අදහස් දැක්වීම සඳහා අපිට සමග එකතු වෙනවා ශ්‍රී ලංකා ප්‍රීමියර් ලීග්හි අධ්‍යක්ෂ අජිත් ජයසේකර මහතා ඒ සමගම ශ්‍රී ලංකා ක්‍රිකට්හි ක්‍රිකට් මෙහෙයුම් කටයුතු සම්බන්ධ ප්‍රධානී කාල්ටන් බර්නාඩස් මහතා. ආරම්භයේදීම මොකද්ද සුපර් ෆෝර්ස් කියන්නේ? මීට පෙර පැවති තරඟාවලිය සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඔබට අදහස් දැක්වීමට එක්කම සුපර් ෆෝර්ස් අනාගතය සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඔබට කරුණු දැක්වීමට to talk about the background of Super Fours and at the same time the future and what happened the last time to talk about on those lines. Would like to call upon Director Sri Lanka Premier League Mr. Ajit Jayasekara.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this forum where we are hoping to introduce, or in actual fact reintroduce, the Super Fours. Most of you know that last year we had the Super Fours, but it was a tournament which was arranged in a hurry, and the winners, Kandurata Maroons, they represented Sri Lanka cricket at the Champions League T20 in India. Right now, this is actually the first step in us. We seek your help to give sufficient publicity, because we are hoping to draw sponsors not only for the tournament but also for the teams. And it is the most appropriate time. We have just been crowned the World T20 champions, and last night we had a resounding win against England, which will, further enhance our reputation as a champion T20 team. So, what is Super Fours? We call it Super Fours because it's a 4-team provincial tournament, and we are going to showcase all the outstanding cricketers who not only represented us in the World T20, but those who have shone in T20 tournaments locally, those who are in the pool. So it is basically a tournament which we want to promote to a higher level than we did last year and try and build up on it. As you know, last year we had the last minute cancellation of the SLPL, and we had to therefore hurriedly arrange this tournament so that we could select the team that would represent Sri Lanka cricket at the CLT20. So now we want to, as I told you earlier, make this a bigger and better event. We have a very small window available to us because as a matter of fact, when the tournament starts, South Africa will be in Sri Lanka. Our Sri Lanka team returns on the 26th of June. We commence the tournament on the 27th and complete it. The finals will be on the 2nd of July, with the first practice game against South Africa being played on the 3rd of July. So it is a very short, sharp exercise, but we are trying to give it a lot of hype. All the matches will be played in one venue here at the SSC grounds, where we hope to draw big crowds, being a convenient place to come to. The 4 teams will, right now we have not finalize the naming of the 4 teams, but basically it will be Kandurata, Basnahira, Utura and Ruhuna like we had last year. And we are leaving the options open for our sponsors to be able to select a name or whatever. And we need the sponsors to also be able to have their, as I said, the names for the teams if possible, which does not clash with anything, any name that we have had and played with at the last SLPL in 2012. We will be finalizing the teams very shortly in the next week or two, and we will not be having any overseas players. They will play the first round, they will play each other once, so there will be 6 games, at the end of which the team that is on top will automatically qualify for the final. But just before the final, we will have a playoff between team number 2 and team number 3. So that basically is the tournament, and I will put you to the head of cricket operations, Carlton Bernardes, to speak in more detail.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jayasekara. And it's time to unveil the logo, and in the meantime I would like to notify you all that the press release regarding this media briefing will be released within 1 to 2 hours time at the conclusion of the media briefing. මේ මාධ්‍ය හමුව සම්බන්ධයෙන් වෙන මාධ්‍ය නිවේදනය අද දවසේ සවස් භාගයේදී ඔබට. So this is going to be the logo of the 2014 edition of Super Force, and this in fact is a reflection of Sri Lanka's dynamic and exciting style of the game, and at the same time we represent the country competitively on a stage dominated by other domestic tournaments. And at the same time, the 4 colors that we have used there is a representation of the 4 teams that will take part at the Super Force. Right, so next to talk to you on the preparedness for the event and the logistical management, as well as the sponsorship structure and the benefits, would like to call upon the head of cricket operations of Sri Lanka Cricket, Mr. Carlton Bernardes.
Thank you. As very rightly Mr. Jayasekara just mentioned to you all, we are trying to move away from what it was called the SLPL. The reason being is, as we have just unveiled the logo, we want to give its own brand, own ownership, and at the same time we want to create awareness. That's the most important thing. And also what we have thought of is to see that the crowds come, enjoy, watch the game. As much as we are looking at entertainment towards cricket and the Sri Lankan crowds enjoying it, we are also looking at what we are. At the present moment, we are the T20 champions. We have done well at the international scene, but we are trying to ensure that that talent that has brought us this trophy, the championship, be enriched with as the years go by. So with that in mind, we have thought that the talent that is in the clubs, district and the provinces be enhanced and be brought into 4 quality teams. The 4 quality teams will play each other, as Mr. Jayasekara just mentioned to you, and bring about a highly competitive tournament which will augur well in the years to come. Plus also, if we draw good sponsorship, attract good sponsorship, maybe as years go, we will have international players also coming into this tournament. So with that in mind, what we have thought was to play in a convenient place where Sri Lanka headquarters is. We played at the SSC so that it is easy for everyone to access to the grounds. So at the same time, we look forward to the media giving it a big publicity, giving it the hype that is necessary for a T20 championship, so that the players also will be encouraged. We would also look at the opportunity the players will get because if you look at the other formats of the game, for the test and for the ODIs, there is a local tournament that is played. But we are now trying to have the third format, which is internationally recognized, and it has got off the ground and done very well, where at the local, we give the local boys the opportunity to play. Because once the talents are identified, now I'm speaking in terms of what the selectors would do, they also need to give the opportunity to youngsters. Because as I mentioned, there are three formats, Test, ODI and the T20. So even players do fit into different formats now. So with that recognition, what we thought was to hype this, to give it the opportunity to our local players, those who are in the pool, those who are contracted to Sri Lanka cricket, and ensure that we have a good stream of players that will serve us in the years to come. So with that, I would now hand you over to Ajit, who will tell you about what the player payments would be in terms of the payments towards the cricketers and towards the teams. And we also have in mind, before I put you on to Ajit, we also have in mind, as much as we are trying to encourage the youngsters to come, and we have a good crop of youngsters that will serve us in the future, we are also endeavoring to encourage the administrators of the game. We are trying to encourage managers to play their role with the teams. We are trying to bring in new coaches from the clubs, because we have identified national coaches that are serving in our national coaching grid, but at the same time we need to have coaches coming through the stream. So we have identified that as we go on next week, once the teams are selected, we will announce who will be the managers of the team, who will be the coaches of the team, the support staff in terms of training, trainers and physios, plus computer analysts. So these are opportunities that we are now trying to create through the domestic to ensure that as much as we have the talent, right, and enhancing that we also see that we have a good crop of coaches, administrators, as well as the trainers and the physios to serve Sri Lanka cricket. I will now hand you over to Ajit, who will tell you about the financial part of it.
Well, the financial part of it, it is obviously not as big as the SLPL, where there were franchise owners who paid big money. Our payments will depend on what sort of sponsorships that we can attract. So once we know what sponsorships our teams can attract, then we will decide on the payment, but it will not be anything like in the SLPL. It will probably be a little bit better, on par or a little bit better than local first class payments that we make here for player payments.
Right, thank you very much, Mr. Carter Bernardes, the head of Great Operations, and Mr. Ajit Jayasekara, Director, Sri Lanka Premier League. හොඳයි, දැන් තිබෙන්නේ ඔබට අවස්ථාව මේ සුපර් ෆෝස් සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඔබට තවත් වැඩිපුර දෙයක් දැනගැනීමට අවශ්‍ය නම් කුමන ආකාරයෙන්ද මේ සිදු වෙන්නේ ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් කරුණු විමසා දැනගැනීමට දැන් අවස්ථාව. මම කැමති ආරාධනා කරන ඔබ සියලු දෙනාගේම සියලු ප්‍රශ්න සුපර් ෆෝස් සම්බන්ධයෙන් පමණක් වෙනවා නම් අපි වඩාත් කැමති තවතර ඔබට අමතර ප්‍රශ්න සම්බන්ධයෙන් පිළිතුරු ලබා ගැනීමට අවශ්‍ය නම් අපි during the fellowship time you can get yourselves clarified on those terms as well.
That is one of the reasons why we had this press briefing before. At least, we are looking at good publicity for this tournament and awareness amongst local corporates, so that they'll be attracted to this. There are many benefits that they can get from this tournament, and we are televising it, and our international broadcast partner will also televise it abroad like they did last time. Sorry? No, we are now, the next step will be we are going to have a advertising campaign, and we call for expressions of interest and for them to bid for the teams as well as title sponsors.
Any more questions? Or Prashna Tibenan?
Do you think in such scenario we can attract sponsors as well as political fans?
Yes, initially, where we have a very small window this time. So, if we do it well enough this year, we are trying to look at a bigger window next year and have more time, and then probably if we get good sponsors, go for foreign players and make it more attractive. We are trying to promote it from grassroots level up. Last year it was a hurried tournament, but this time we are giving it a lot of publicity.
In case you can find sponsors,
We will go ahead. Nevertheless, we will go ahead because sponsors is an added bonus, and we are trying to get our local corporates to sponsor the teams because they have lots of benefits, lots of exposure, as I said. But nevertheless, we'll go ahead because we have to play a tournament of this nature to ultimately send the team for the CLT20.
Not only that, I mean, going further, to take a cue from what you mentioned, the T20 is important, has come to stay at international level. So domestically, we have to create that opportunity for the youngsters. As I said, there are 3 formats played, right? Domestically now we provide the 1 day and the longer version, but we also need to have a T20 because we are now the champions, and that tag will be just for another year or 2, right? But we also need to see that it is sustained, that we continue to win this championship as much as we have done it. So with that in mind, also Sri Lanka cricket will always fund tournaments of this nature because it goes into the development of its product. So with the product being developed, what we now envisage is sponsors to come in. That is why I use the word, rather than using sponsorship, let them be a partner with us to partner the crusade towards winning the T20 in the future.
Hold on for a second, Dave. You can use the mic, if you can mic this on. Yes, it's on.
What is the minimum expenditure for a tournament of this nature? This is going to be just 8 days, 6 days, 8 matches. What is the minimum expenditure for a tournament of this nature?
Yeah, Ajit will answer you on that.
Well, we have budgeted around 15 million rupees.
That includes the player payments?
At the moment, as I said, player payments will depend on what sort of sponsorship we get, title sponsorship and the team sponsorship. We have budgeted around 15 million and we are hoping that we'll be able to cover it with sponsorships.
Hold on for a second.
I think you spoke about benefits for sponsors.
Sorry?
You spoke about benefits for sponsors,
Yes.
cartons as commercial partners. What kind of benefits will they gain from this tournament?
Well, the title sponsor, you would have seen it on TV, you get the pitch mats on either side behind the wicket. You have on the scoreboard, on the side screens, and player dugout backdrop, presentation backdrops. They have several A boards and also maybe boxers, invitations for all international matches played locally. And then for team sponsors, we have 4 team sponsors and we are offering them mid-wicket pitch mats. Not the main mats you are for the main sponsor. The team sponsors will get a mid-wicket pitch mat. They'll get a minimum of 6 to 8 A boards, and they also have their products which can be advertised on the player shirts. So and they will get TV spots right through the day, a certain number of TV spots. So we are paying for the TV for the entire day, and there are several spots available. So those are the benefits that they will get.
15 million you mentioned, it includes TV.
That's the cost.
Yeah.
That's the cost right now.
Overall cost, yes.
One criticism last year was you had only 4 teams, and many said if you had 5 or 6 teams it would have been better. But this year also you are going with the concept with the 4 teams. Do you think you can accommodate all the up and coming talented youngsters into these 4 teams?
First, why only 4 teams? Because we have a very small window, and we can't. If we have 5 teams, it will be 12 games. We have 4 teams because we are having 8 games. Then for the 4 teams, there will be 15 in a pool. There will be 60 players. So beyond that, if you have more players, and then the teams, the strength of the teams will be diluted. So I think we at the moment, because of the time constraint, we can have only 4 teams, and having 4 teams will ensure that we have 4 strong teams, equally strong teams in the tournament.
Yeah, to add on further to it, if you look at where Sri Lanka cricket contracts players, the contract players for the national pool plus the emerging settles to around 60 players. So that is the cream that we need to give the opportunities, right, to enhance their skills and talents, which is going to be our product in the future. So rather than diluting it, what we are also thinking of is not the quantity but the quality, right? And as Ajit mentioned before, as we gather momentum and strength, right, we intend having foreign players, right, that will also make it even more competitive, plus muscle the teams. That will increase the talents and the strengths of our cricket to remain in par at the international.
We all know that cricketers are playing too many cricket in these days. But there had been a tendency of most of the national players who tend to omit domestic tournaments. Is it going to be, because now Sri Lanka team arrives here on 26th, tournament starts 27, and they go to play South Africa in less than a week's time. So is it going to be compulsory for the national players to play in this tournament, or will they be given leave?
That's a call for the national selectors, but the national selectors have made it aware to the players that this tournament is a must that they should play. Because if you look at the winning team, we'll be going for another championship, which is also an opportunity monetary wise that they will gain. So we have also brought it forward. Initially we would look, we played this tournament somewhere in August, right? That is so too close to the Champions League, which is being conducted in India in September. We have brought it forward because we need them to practice, not only play, but practice as a unit, and we want the teams to be stronger, feel that they can do their best, and also looking at the naming of the 4 teams, we have taken it from the provinces by naming the teams such that that demarcation will be there, where clubs and districts will thereafter take ownership of those teams as it goes on. So we are starting off gradually and slowly, but hoping to build it as we go on.
I mean, the another point is, if they don't play, if they rest and they don't play, it is only the 15 that play here that can be nominated to go for CLT20. You cannot add any players.
So but on the other hand, if they don't play, that means the tournament is being diluted.
No, it will not be diluted. They will want to play. It will not be diluted, and we are expecting all our national players to play in the tournament.
questions? තවත් ප්‍රශ්න තිබෙනවද ඔබට?
I'm open to any discussion, and also please remember that from now onwards that I will be available at any time. If you want any clarification, you can either call me or come and see me or whatever, and I will do any clarifications that you require. And once again, I want to thank all of you for having come here, and I appeal to you to support us in this new venture, which we are hoping to build up to a super tournament in the future. So thank you once again. Thank you for coming, and please join us for some tea.
And one couple of more announcements about the press release. As I mentioned earlier, the press release will be emailed to you all during the course of the day today, and at the same time the contact details of Mr. Jayasekara and all the other relevant parties will be available on the press release. මේ සඳහා වන මාධ්‍ය නිවේදනය තවත් නොබෝ වෙලාවකින් ඔබට ඊමේල් මගින් ලැබෙන්න සලස්වන නිමිතයි. So with that, we conclude the media briefing on the announcement of Super Fours, the most prestigious T20 cricket tournament organized by Sri Lanka Cricket, and I would like to invite all of you to enjoy the refreshments being served at the Open Air Pavilion, and make sure that you all collect your compliments on your way back. Thank you very much.
Thank you.